And welcome back to another episode of Anessa's Crazy Cooking. Today we will be making chewy chocolate chip cookies, one of my favorite cookies of all time. So let's go over the ingredients you'll need before we get started. For these cookies, you'll need a couple of eggs, some chocolate chips, baking soda and a little bit of salt, some butter softened at room temperature, vanilla extract, white granulated sugar, all-purpose flour, a cookie sheet, and then I'm using an ice cream scoop to help me put the cookie dough onto the cookie sheet when we're ready to do that. So our first step to make these cookies is you're going to take your flour and your baking soda and salt, and we're just going to stir them together. These are all our dry ingredients, just with a tablespoon, until you can't see the baking soda and salt anymore. Okay, so we're going to put our flour mixture aside, our dry ingredients, and then you're going to take a standing mixer or a hand mixer or whatever you have. You can even do this by hand. And it's fitted with a paddle attachment if you have a stand one like this. So you're going to take your sugar and butter and cream this until it's nice and creamy and fluffy. And this is the butter at room temperature. Okay, so while our butter and sugar is still stirring, we're going to add our 2 eggs and our vanilla extract to it. And beat this. Before we add the dry ingredients, you're going to beat this until it's nice and creamy. Okay, so to this mixture, we're going to add our dry ingredients in batches. And I would probably recommend shutting the mixer off so you don't get a cloud of flour in your face. So about a couple tablespoons at a time should do it. And do not over mix this. You're going to stir this until it has that cookie dough consistency, and then I'll show you what we'll do next. Okay, so I've taken my cookie dough from the mixer and it should look like this. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take your chocolate chips and pour them all in the cookie dough, or pour however many you want. I believe I have 1.5 cups of chocolate chips here. And we're going to stir these in. Make sure you obviously don't mix them in because then they'll start breaking out. So just stir these in until each chocolate chip is coated in cookie dough. So at this point, you should have your oven preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and you're going to take your cookie scoop, and your cookie dough should look like this. You're going to take your cookie scoop, get your cookie sheet, and just form your cookies. So each cookie should be about a full cookie scoop, or ice cream scoop. And just like that, and we'll do that to all of our dough, and I'll show you what to do next, and how long to bake them for. So I finished putting our cookie dough on our cookie sheet, and this made a lot more cookies. I have a lot of remaining dough left, so don't worry. You can find all of the measurements for all my recipes on my website, which I'll leave a link to down below, and it will say how much each recipe makes. So right now you're going to bake these cookies for 10 minutes or until they're nicely golden brown along the edges but not burnt, and make sure they're slightly undercooked because they will cook when you leave them to cool on your pan. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So after 10 minutes, I took the cookies out of the oven and I let them sit on the cookie sheet for a couple of minutes, and then I put them onto a wire cooling rack so they can cool, and that's when they get and form their chewy consistency. So now it's time for the taste test. Very good and very chewy, as you can see. If you like chewy chocolate chip cookies, you must try this recipe. It's for you. Remember to go on my website, which I'll leave a link to down below, to get all the measurements. And I hope to see you next time. Don't be afraid to get crazy in the kitchen. See you next time. Bye.